How's it going, everyone? Tuki here, back again with some more NHL 16 and my Boston Bruins GM mode. In this episode, we will go and sim to the end of the season. If it doesn't go our way and we don't make the playoffs, we will sim up until the entry draft. Now, a quick recap for those who may have missed the last episode. Essentially, as you can see by our record, 28, 26, and 10, we're not exactly in a great spot. We were going to sell off some assets and really start to rebuild this team. However, due to the lack of teams really being able to work with us and teams that are attempting to buy, not wanting to give up decent prospects, I decided to make some good purchases, or at least what I hope will be some good purchases, acquiring Michael Bodker, Shane Doan, Mark Stewart, and James Reimer. 3 out of 4 are unrestricted free agents. The outlier there is Mark Stewart, who has 3 years left on his deal. I am a little bit nervous about that pickup, but we'll see how that goes. We have a lot of unrestricted free agents coming up, so it's going to be really interesting to see where this team ends up down the line anyway. But for now, as you'll see here, we'll take a quick look at the team standings. Right now it is Montreal and Buffalo. I think, though, yeah, Columbus. Sorry about that. So Columbus and Montreal currently have the wild card spots, meaning we are just 5 points back of a playoff spot with 18 games to go. However, we have 2 issues to address immediately. Number 1, Zdeno Chara is still out, and he will be out until at least the first round of the playoffs. That is obviously a huge blow to the team. And the second major issue is the strength of opponents we have coming up. We do not have an easy end to this season. Chicago is a great team. Washington is a great team. Tampa is a great team. I think the Islanders are doing relatively well. San Jose is doing relatively well. LA is doing all right. New York is a really good team. So really, and St. Louis is a great team, and Vladimir Tarasenko is absolutely tearing shit up. So this is not going to be an easy way to make the playoffs. But enough context, let's get into the sim. We are going to give Tuukka Rask these first 2 games of this session, Chicago and Washington. James Reimer's first start will be against the Florida Panthers, who have a pretty similar record to ours. So let's see what we can do. Will the new acquisitions get us into a winning way and hopefully lead us to a playoff berth? I don't expect to do well in the playoffs even if we make it, but hopefully we can at least make it. Game against Chicago, and we get a big win, 5-3. Brad Marchand will be back. We won't put him in until the Florida game. Let's see now if we can get a win over the Washington Capitals, and we do not. We lose 5-2. So essentially a washout. You know, we get a big win against Chicago, but then we lose to an Eastern Conference opponent in Washington. Now, really quickly, the morale system. And I'll tell you, the main reason why I haven't been focusing on this too much is because a lot of times you can give guys a real positive answer. For example, earlier on, I had an AHL player say how happy he was to be getting playing time. I tell him, hey, you deserve it, and it has a negative reaction, and the player has a negative reaction to me congratulating him. The morale system still needs a lot of work. It was a nice idea, but really so far the implementation of it hasn't been too great. Back to the sim, and I'm a little bit nervous here. We're giving Reimer the start. Backup goalies for us have been horrendous this year, Gustafsson and Smith. Of course, we traded those 2 for Reimer, so let's see what happens. Reimer against Florida. Can he hang? And he cannot. It is a 4-1 loss, and we have just not been able to find a reliable backup so far this season, and it is pretty damn frustrating to just... Jonas Gustafsson had a sub-900 save percentage, and I'm pretty sure Jeremy Smith's wasn't that much better. Just really disappointing. And I'll show you a quick look at the main lines here, and you'll see, you know, I did some tinkering around. Like Pasternak has the green arrow. He's having a good run right now, so I put him up. Connolly, Koklachev, and Talbot all have the arrows, so, you know, I move Hayes, Spooner, and Doan down to the 4th line, and it's just... It is frustrating, and people like that need to start producing. This team needs to start producing. We actually have one player morale segment, and since I'm letting this go along instead of making the normal cut, Matt Bolesky isn't too happy about being scratched, but then again, I'm not too happy about how he's played this year, so it's a mutual feeling. But anyway, let's get back into the sim here. We don't have that many games left. We have a game against Tampa, Carolina, and the Islanders, San Jose, Anaheim. I think the next time we start Reimer is going to be against Anaheim. So let's sim through these next 4 games. We have a game against Tampa. It's a 4-2 loss, an overtime win against Carolina, and Adam McQuaid gets hurt with a bum knee. He's going to be out for 6 days. He's going to miss the next 2 games. We have a waiver wire claim for Justin Falk. Really see no reason to bring him on. We have plenty of defensive depth. Back into the sim, a game against the Islanders, and it's a big 3-0 win. We have another game coming up here against San Jose. Adam McQuaid won't be at full health until after this game. Can we get a big win here? The start of a Western Conference road trip, and we lose 3-1. So still, so far, no consistency from this team. Taking another quick look at the standings, we have 11 games left. No teams have yet to clinch a playoff spot, although Detroit and Tampa are certainly battling it out. As you can see, Buffalo and Florida really competing. Montreal in there as well. 80 points and 79 points. So 79 points right now is the cutoff for a wild card spot. We are 7 points back with 11 games left. So I've decided against putting Reimer in against Anaheim. We're going to have to run Rask in back-to-back games. I don't think Reimer will start until the Toronto game. We need Tuukka Rask to carry this team. We're going to sim up to that Toronto game. Let's see what happens. First game against Anaheim is a shootout loss, and then a regulation loss on top of that to the LA Kings. Big game now against New York, and I'm so nervous, and we lose 4-2. And this next game against Florida is going to be pretty telling. It's an overtime win. Kevin Miller goes down with a concussion. We're not even going to start Reimer. We're just going to go with Tuukka Rask for the rest of this season. This is not looking good. A game now against the Maple Leafs. It's a 4-2 loss, and I'm pretty sure we're screwed. Let's just sim up to the St. Louis game. It's not looking too good. It's not looking like this team is good enough. A loss to the Devils, and that'll pretty much do it. We'll take a quick look at the standings, but we only have 5 games left, and I just don't see how we are going to be able to get into the playoffs. We have 75 points. Oh yeah, we're out of it. We are absolutely out of it. We only have 5 games left. We are, without a doubt, out of the playoffs at this point. So this season has, without a doubt, been a complete and utter failure. So let's just sim now. I'll get us to the end of the playoffs. We'll take a look at all the stats, the awards, and let's see who wins the Stanley Cup. But this season is over. So there you have it, everyone. The season has come to an end. The Dallas Stars are your Stanley Cup champions. Tyler Seguin raises another trophy. Daniel Sedin raises his first trophy. Jamie Benn as well. This season wasn't all bad. The Providence Bruins won the Calder Cup. Now, I didn't do anything like send down David Pastrnak to help them out. They were just good enough on their own to win the Calder Cup, so at least the future looks bright. Now, again, I will just do a quick season recap on all the stats, the awards, the playoff tree, and all that. We'll cut this episode off, and we will start with the draft in the beginning of next season in the next episode. But first, let's look at this playoff tree. We'll start in the West, and as you can see, Dallas barely escaped St. Louis. 7 games. Anaheim beats Minnesota in 7. LA over San Jose in 6. And Calgary over Chicago in 7. 2 Game 7s in the semifinals. Dallas over Anaheim and LA over Calgary. Dallas sweeps LA to get to the finals. And in the Stanley Cup Finals, Alex Ovechkin was 1 game away, but the Dallas Stars in 7 games take the Stanley Cup. So once again, Dallas, your Stanley Cup champions. President's Trophy winners were the Minnesota Wild. We'll take a quick look at all the player awards. The Art Ross Trophy goes to Zach Parise, leading the league in scoring. The Hart Memorial, the MVP to his team, Braden Holtby. Understandable. Washington gets to the finals. 1 game short of winning. Erik Karlsson wins his 2nd straight Norris. The Lady Byng goes to Vladimir Tarasenko. Calder Memorial to Connor McDavid, as expected. The Conn Smythe to Jason Spezza, a player I forgot to mention, but Jason Spezza also wins his first Stanley Cup. The Vezina Trophy goes to Braden Holtby, as somewhat expected. The William M. Jennings to Marc-Andre Fleury. The Masterton to Eric Goodbranson. The Selke Trophy goes back to Jonathan Toews for the first time in 3 years. Ted Lindsay to Braden Holtby, who takes home a lot of hardware but doesn't take home the cup. And the Rocket Richard to Zach Parise. We'll take a quick look too at the AHL awards, considering again the Providence Bruins, our AHL team, wins the Calder Cup. These are just all of the divisional trophies, and as you can see as well, they won the Eastern Conference. I actually don't think they won their division. They did not. So a nice little upset there after not winning their division. Dylan Larkin gets the most points in the AHL. He also gets the MVP award. Steve Moses gets the most goals for Nashville's minor league team. He also gets the most outstanding rookie player. Eddie Shore Award for the best defenseman goes to Anaheim's Brandon Montour. Jordan Binghamton of the St. Louis Blues is your best goaltender. And the MVP of the playoffs goes to Austin Czarnik, someone who we really need to look at calling up. He has tough competition with Spooner and Kovalchev, but that might be proof right there. He's ready for a spot, at least on the fourth line. Dylan Larkin gets the Fred T. Hunt Memorial Award. And Andrew Bodnarchuk, former Bruins prospect, gets some hardware as well. And Nathan Luen of Rochester, the lowest goals against average. We'll take a quick look too at the standings for the NHL. And as you can see, we are way down towards the bottom, a 24th place finish. Toronto finishes dead last off of, I believe, off of a tiebreaker with Arizona. Vancouver also there. Obviously, they did a little bit of selling. Daniel Sedin, Ryan Miller, and Ham Hughes. Colorado has another off year, as does New Jersey, and Winnipeg also finishes pretty low. Edmonton, not too bad. And obviously, Buffalo, shockingly way up here, 9th place finish. Take a quick look at the points for us as well. Our goal scoring leader, Patrice Bergeron, the only player to make the 30-point mark. David Krejci at 26, and Bodker, the only other player to break 20. Marchand and Doan, both with 15 apiece. That's not as good as I was hoping for. As you can see, Louis Eriksson a minus 17. And point-wise, it was close, but as expected, David Krejci and Patrice Bergeron leading the way. David Pastrnak has a nice year with 46 points. Eriksson, 45 points as well, but is that enough for us to want to re-sign him? That I am not sure. Defenseman as well, Torrey Krug leads the way in points, but the big thing I want you to look at here is games played. Not a single one of our defensemen made it all the way through. Krug misses 6 games, Irwin only 73 games, Chara played just over half the year, Seidenberg struggled with health, and that's a big problem. And Adam McQuaid, 198 penalty minutes, not his best season. He also had quite a bit of regression, finishing the season at a 78 overall. I'm actually not sure if that's permanent. Really quickly, let's go back and look over the forwards, see if there's been any extreme progression or regression. Nothing yet. Brad Marchand, that's a big one, dropping to an 80 overall. Again, I'm not sure if that's permanent. If that is tragic for us, especially with his contract. Jimmy Hayes finishes at a 77. Again, hope to God that's not permanent. Obviously, it has to do with the morale system. Bolesky finishes at a 77, and the AHL Dustin Jeffrey up to a 78. So overall, not too great. We will take a quick look at Buffalo because we want to look at this guy, Jack Eichel, 47 points, finishes at an 86 overall. You have to assume it was him, Kane, and Ennis, and all three of them had a great year. Quick look at the NHL stats as well, and only 2 players eclipsed the 40-goal mark. It was Ovechkin and Parise. Parise missing 6 games, but he still had a spectacular year. He also took home the award for most points, just beating out Vladimir Tarasenko, again, despite only playing 76 games. Take a quick look at the defensemen as well, and as you can see, Erik Karlsson, 67 points, up to a 93 overall. He is an absolute monster. Aaron Ekblad up to an 89, 53-point season. An amazing year for him. And for goalies, again. 3 points for Martin Jones. What do you know? The goalies again, though, we'll take a quick look. But just talking about this and then knowing just how bad we did this season, it kind of hurts. As you can see, Tuukka Rask played the most games in net. We had to rely heavily on him. We just could not get a decent backup to carry the load. Marc-Andre Fleury finishes with the lowest goals against average, a 1.82. Antti Niemi at a 1.88. Antti Niemi, a Stanley Cup winning goalie with the Dallas Stars. In terms of most wins for goaltenders, it was not Philippe DeRoziers, it was Devin Dubnyk with 47, Elliot Close with 45. Save percentage, this is just getting so tragic just having to look this up. Braden Holtby, Antti Niemi, and Marc-Andre Fleury all tied with a 9.37 save percentage. And in terms of shutouts, 13 for Jonathan Quick. Well, that is it for this terribly depressing and defeating episode of my Boston Bruins GM mode. And in the next episode, we blow this team up. Nobody is safe other than probably Bergeron and Rask. But Zdeno Chara, if he's still here, he's probably going. Dennis Seidenberg probably going. We're going to do the full rebuild as we plan to do. For the second year in a row, we are going to make big waves at the draft. It's highly obvious changes have to be made. It can't be a retooling. It has to be a full rebuild, and it will be. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this episode and what should we do, who should we get rid of, and just what should we look to do. Are there any specific players? Obviously, Austin Matthews is going #1 overall. We do have 2 first-round draft picks. Potentially, we could trade up. I'm honestly not sure what to do here. It's going to be a very tough decision that is going to shape the future of this team. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Help get the word out there. It is so very much appreciated, and I will catch you all next time.